Wands energy is very independent. It's this energy of like this person got themselves where they needed to be, or where they feel is an energy of, with the Ace of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles, like self-love or comfortability. It could be also their financial situation. Basically how they take care of themselves. It's giving like they love themselves. And then the Knight of Cups in reverse is like there was nobody here to do it for this person. This Queen of Wands, their power is, it's theirs. They take care of themselves. It's like there is this energy of like pride with it. There's also this energy of like knowing that because nobody else did it for them, that there's a little bit of this, maybe this energy of feeling misunderstood. So we've got a couple cards here. We also have a King of Wands, so I'll get into that. There's this energy for this Queen of Wands of some kind of trigger coming up recently or in a relationship with this King of Wands energy. I believe this is a romantic situation. I feel like there are definitely certain themes that are coming up for this Queen of Wands energy right now, and probably also this King of Wands, that are not just related to this romantic relationship. Like it's not just coming up in this relationship, it's coming up in other areas of their lives. So we have the Shadow and we have the Witch, which is 3 and 33, which is 333. It's also this energy of like self-mastery and power, right? Establishment. So I believe it's the Empress too. The Shadow, making a friend and ally of your shadow side is necessary for becoming your authentic self, a key element of true success. We also have the Witch. Be aware of your reputation, your influence, and your power to create, preserve, or destroy. Powerful women are often misunderstood. I do feel like being misunderstood for this Queen of Wands is a trigger for them. I also feel like this person... when this person feels misunderstood, or when they feel like their power is not being seen, when they feel like their power is like threatened in some way, or when it feels like it's maybe going unnoticed in some way, I think it brings out this person's shadow. So this shadow energy is something that this person's being asked to look into, because this Queen of Wands, this is like a dark feminine goddess. This is powerful shadow energy. This is energy that no one can provide to you except for them saying something that triggers you or doing something that triggers you. It's actions, right? That's Wands. This person may feel like they don't like to accept handouts, or they don't like to it could just be that there's a kind of a common experience that this Queen of Wands has, which is wanting to maybe reject certain offers that are given by someone with an like intention that they don't understand. And so it comes off to this person like, well, is this threatening my power because I don't understand it? There's something also about this Queen of Wands actions, and this Queen of Wands it could be anyone. It may not be you, it could be you, or it could be the person you're involved with. But I think the reason I'm not gonna immediately assign someone to it, or the viewer to this, is because there's a need for me to be unbiased in the way that this is presenting itself. So this Queen of Wands energy, there is a vibe of, because this person is doing really well, or because this person has gotten themselves to a place where they're not just stable, but they are empowered, they're in their confidence, right? And because nobody hand delivered that to them, they had to go and find this on their own. They had to get to this place of independence and establishment and well-being on their own. It's like this energy of there being a little bit of a lack of truthfulness for themselves. And that is me describing denial. The thing that they might be a bit in denial about is the other two cards. Their shadow being triggered, and them looking at their reputation, their influence, and their power, but also this vibe of misunderstanding or feeling misunderstood. This person knows how to be there for themselves or support themselves or to validate themselves and to understand and look into their shadow when they have to feel feelings that come from being triggered by someone else in a way where they feel like a victim of whatever happened, right? And that's valid. But this Queen of Wands energy, something that they miss, or something that they're not being fully truthful with themselves for. And I think this started from a miscommunication here, and I'll read this card in a sec, but something that they're not truthful with themselves for is them understanding that their power that they have, it's intense, and it does have the power to create, preserve, or destroy. And I think there's something about this person not wanting to be truthful with themselves when it comes to the not so fun feelings that they feel when they actually look at how their actions affected another person. Specifically has to do with a conflict that went down where multiple people were involved. And this could have been a group setting, right? And it has to do with this Queen of Wands and this King of Wands. But we have this Messenger card. Also, the numbers on these are 50 and then 38. Make sure that what is being said is what is being heard. The same words and messages can often mean different things to different people. I'm not gonna lie, it's giving like in vengeful or spiteful ways. It is something where this person has enough of a foundation or enough self-love to feel like they're pretty valid in a situation where if them asserting this power happens to destroy something for someone else, it's like they haven't really had to take a look at their actions in this way very often, because the Ace of Cups, it's like this person means well most of the time, but this person kind of having to do things on their own and feeling misunderstood in general, or feeling like maybe resentful of having to go that route, having to do it all on their own. I think that's something where they may not even know that they do have something in their shadow that has to do with revenge or spite that does excite them. And I think that this has been misunderstood either by this King of Wands or by someone that was involved in a conflict that both of these people were also part of. And it could have had to do with outside, like Nine of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups. It could be that like, because this was for a good cause, that it's okay to kind of go without being aware of whatever was either destroyed in the situation, or whatever, it could be like whatever reputation maybe this Queen of Wands has gained in the situation that I want to say they're not fully even aware of, either by this King of Wands energy or by the people around them. And it's almost showing up like this Queen of Wands energy learning how to like so fiercely love themselves. It's almost coming from this place of protection from the people around them. And so it's like, you know, the more that I love myself and the more that I validate myself and affirm myself, and constantly when other people are not understanding me, the more that I don't have to care about, you know, what other people think of me, kind of thing. And I think that's sort of where there's like a bit of a blind spot for this Queen of Wands energy, because we have, you know, being me, and then we also have differences. The blind spot is that this Queen of Wands energy kind of like lacks relatability to the people around them, or they're just not seeing like fully how they are perceived. And I think that it's, in some cases, it's good to not really give a shit how you're being perceived, but it's by the people that they do love that they are it's coming off like a blind spot, like they're lacking an understanding of others' observation of them in this way. And I think that this Witch card, with the first sentence saying, like, be aware of your reputation, your influence, and your power, and then powerful women are often misunderstood. I think there's this energy of at times feeling like, why is it that people are not getting certain things? Why are they not understanding this? And like, what is so hard to understand? And I think it's because there's something that this person is not aware of, that they kind of do, or that other people think a certain way about. And it actually showing up like it's valid for people to think a certain way. It is, I'm not gonna, like, giving a little bit of like not being super self-aware of how they're coming off when it comes to like situations where outsiders are able to perceive the conflict that's happening. And so I want to say this could be a friendship in situation or setting in which this, like, there was a display of this that would lead to the witch would lead to, sorry, I'm looking at this Witch card. Also, the number is 33, someone could be 33. But it would lead to this Queen of Wands energy feeling almost like they want to be more assertive in this energy of like showing that they are, you know, independent, and that everything, like, they don't need to care about anybody else's opinions. But it's showing up like there's something here in that is like, it's showing up like a big blind spot, and it has to do with a conflict that they, like I said, had with this King of Wands that is their person, right? Like this King of Wands energy, it says, you light up my world, right? Our love will never cease to exist. I dream about you at night. Like, this is giving like Bonnie and Clyde. We also have gambling, divorce, and then commitment. So I want to say this Queen of Wands energy is somebody who was divorced, somebody who has been divorced, right? And whether it's from this King of Wands energy or not, I don't really think it is. I think this King of Wands came around after this divorce energy, because commitment came right after this. But gambling, problems with addiction, or gambling / bad finances, this is something that either led to divorce, and because there's all this energy of with Nine of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, Ace of Cups, like having to get, I'm going to say this Queen of Wands might be you, having to get yourself back to a place of financial, like, not just security, but the Nine of Pentacles is like, you know, it's lavish, it's feeling good, it's feeling like you have everything you need and more, right? It's like cushion, it's taken care of. Having to get to that place on their own or on your own makes me think that there was gambling that you could have dealt with that could have led to this divorce, or there was something about addiction or something about a previous person or previous commitment. It's like this revoked, this took away an opportunity, or this was a huge reason, or the main reason why this previous commitment was like went wrong. I think that this other commitment, I think there's a newer commitment, especially with the Ace of Cups and then the King of Wands. It's showing up like this newer commitment, this King of Wands, the person that we do feel all of this love for, or this Queen of Wands does, that's where there is misunderstanding, or there is conflict. And I think that this Queen of Wands almost doesn't even know this. So we also have being me, right? Self-love. I love being me because I'm the only me that has ever existed on the entire planet ever. I look like me, I think like me, and I'm so grateful to be like me. What would I ever do without me? And then we have differences. Here's the group, right? The group. The things that make me different are the things that make me special. If someone doesn't see that now, that's okay. I'll let them be special in their own way and get on with my day. I can't spend time thinking about what other people think. I have a special life to live. I think that is, it's giving this energy of like, you could have felt bullied to some extent, either by the family members of the last person that you were with, or this is like a childhood wound, or this is something that is triggering to feel misunderstood, right? Or to feel like you're not, it's almost like being misunderstood, or people around you treating you a certain way means that they're not understanding your power, right? Or who you are, because how could they treat you this way if they did understand your power, right? And it's sort of saying like, it's not always personal like that. Some people are treating you a certain way because of their own insecurities, or right. But there's something here about like it feeling deeply personal, or a situation, and it could have had to do with this King of Wands and the outside people, right? It's like how people treated you, it felt deeply personal in this conflict, and it brought out your shadow. But I think that there is something about the way that maybe you did try to exert your power in this situation coming off like that's the thing where having to actually look at, or like this card says, be truthful with yourself in some regard, about the fact that a lot of this was a trigger for you and you were triggered. It's like that was the biggest thing, right? But the action that was being taken, it's almost showing up like there was some revenge or there was some spite. I want to say there's probably a collective here that does understand fully and is embracing that part of their shadow and is trying to accept themselves and accept that they do have ways about them that, you know, want revenge or want spite or feel spiteful when they feel misunderstood. And there's a collective here that doesn't really think twice about the effects of when they assert their power, what that actually has done in a past situation with multiple people that were involved. And I think that it has affected this King of Wands and how they view the situation. And it's also affected how they've viewed either a past commitment or a situation in which you're misunderstood by this King of Wands for almost the opposite reason, right? This was a situation where I think that you were not acting out of spite or vengeance in like separating from this other person or the conflicts that you dealt with there. But I think that this person, they don't fully understand your past situation. And I think that that would maybe make you feel like the type of misunderstood that doesn't have to do with your power feeling misunderstood, right? That would have made you, if you knew what this person, like the truth about what they thought, if you knew the truth, I guess, about the position this person took in this conflict or how they viewed your position, you wouldn't feel misunderstood just for like I was saying in the last part, for them not understanding your power and assertiveness. What you'd feel misunderstood about is the fact that this was a situation where it wasn't just revenge or spite, it was that you actually were like kind of left in the dust. And it's not coming from a place of like somebody intentionally hurting you, right? It could have been in your past situation. It's not that you were a victim to the person. You were a victim to the person's actions that didn't have malicious intent, right? And so it's like gambling. In a commitment, if one person is gambling or one person is, you know, struggling with an addiction, it's like that may have been the thing that led to this, like we were talking about, separation. But it's not, there's no malicious intent in whatever was happening here in that previous commitment. And so it's like a victim to how things ended up and the circumstances, but not a victim to the actual person. And so there wasn't like abuse, right? And I think that's where this King of Wands doesn't really understand that, just like in general. They have a hard time understanding it, and they may think that how they think about that, it's almost showing up like, if you were to talk about this with this person, or if this person were to bring this up, especially with this messenger card saying, make sure that what is being said is what is being heard. The same words and messages can often mean different things to different people. The reason why I think you're being kind of asked by your guides to look at this trigger that maybe you have when it comes to feeling misunderstood, because if you can understand it in the context of spite or vengeance, which seems like there's a blind spot there for the effect it has on other people, or it has had on other people, then you will better be able to understand where this King of Wands is actually not seeing you in a way that what is supposed to make you upset. And I don't think that it has, and I don't think you've heard this from this King of Wands energy. I don't feel like that's making sense the way that I want it to. But if it comes up like in a better way for me to explain that, I will explain it. I think there is something to specifically to do about you maybe feeling like you've had to almost be hyper independent in this newer situation, or I guess it may not be newer. It could just be that it, happened after this prior commitment separated. But the fact that you haven't heard whatever this person has to say here or their thoughts on the matter, this is something that would completely shake like how you feel you would handle or how you would want to handle this trigger, because it's different. It's coming up in the context of like being misunderstood by the person that you were supporting in a conflict that you didn't even know had like these certain thoughts about you. It's like different from the context of feeling misunderstood and having to defend yourself like alone and like needing to kind of have self-love in that regard. It's like completely different when the person, it's a completely different experience. And I think part of the reason why with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, the Nine of Cups in reverse, there seems to have been almost like a pause to the action here, or it's like I'm seeing this as like barriers between this King of Wands and the Queen of Wands, and then the Knight of Cups, it's also like this, you haven't received specific like offers or gestures or love, or there's something here about there being blockages in the way between this King and this Queen. And I think that your guides really want you to take a look-see-loo at whatever this is. And so I was saying in part one, this is like a theme that's showing itself. And I want to say it's not just, like I said in part one, just coming through this King of Wands. It's coming from people on the outside. I want to say you haven't even felt like you haven't had this kind of miscommunication from this King of Wands recently, but this is something that is like, it's going to come back up. I don't think you're going to see how it comes up, but it's maybe going to have to do with some kind of talks financially, or there is maybe some kind of financial element about one of your own individual lives that would potentially bring this back up. We also have 44, the grace. Forgive yourself and anyone else in your situation, even if you or they do not deserve it. To forgive is to mirror the divine forces who love us. This mirror, it's like you guys could also have had like situations that mirrored each other's in terms of like, I'm imagining like contracts or commitments, right? And I think that is also something where you guys don't fully know. I think that's part of the thing that like this person doesn't fully know about maybe this past situation. So for example, if you still have like some kind of agreement or orders or like financial situation set up with your past person that you were separated from, this person may also have something like that going on, but the way that they handle their situation and all of the conflict involved, it makes it so that this person really doesn't understand your situation and what's going on. This person may have some like vengeance or some spite with their past situation where there are still ties. And so because of that, this person may project onto your situation that they don't fully know all the tea about and assume that you also handle this situation that you have with this past person in a similar manner. I think that's where you would maybe feel misunderstood, because I think that if you actually truly knew how this person moved, which I don't think you do, I think there's, with this Truth card, I think that there's some stuff you haven't fully heard about their side of the story about what's going on in their life, and you could have felt kind of excluded as well. That could have also been triggering, right? I think if you knew all the details about their situation and you like saw it from then the opinion maybe you would like feel about how this person handled that situation, if you knew that that's how they assumed you handled your situation, you would maybe feel really misunderstood, almost like this vibe of, why would I do, like, I don't have any reason to do that, or that's not in my character. But there is something about how you handled a previous conflict with this person was involved with that supports the idea that you would have handled this situation with your ex person that way. And so I think that there is something about, if this were to come up, it would be something where you would feel very misunderstood, but I think you would feel very alone because this is the one person that maybe like you thought did understand your situation. And I think this is something where, like I was saying, I think in part one, if you're in this energy of like, well, you know what, they don't understand me, so it's fine. I really, I'm my only person that's here for me. And there's that energy of like almost feeling like you have to empower yourself in this energy of hyper independence when it's really like a lack of, it's really like this energy of feeling like you want to shut these people out who don't understand you because you don't want to be hurt by them not understanding you. And so it's like this loophole that's been created to feel really empowered and doing really well without these people in your life, when in reality you may have actually, if you were like being fully truthful with yourself, wanted these people in your life, but because they supported you or they were meaningful, that's why the situation was so conflicting. But it's also showing up like there is this like blind spot to not wanting to actually look at maybe how that power or like whatever was being triggered here, like how it was dealt with on your end. It's like not wanting to actually look at that, but you'd be able to fully see it and have the opinion that you're being asked to have about how you handled the situation. You'd be able to see that and have that opinion with how this person handled their situation. And so it's saying like this is something where if you can't really view it and actually accept that this energy of I love me, I'm the only person that ever existed, I'm only gonna, I don't care about how anybody else felt because it will make me feel like feelings I don't want to feel. It'll trigger my shadow and make me feel like I, kind of have to accept that I acted in a way that was not cool and probably hurt some people. You're being asked to look at that so that you don't shut yourself out from this King of Wands. Because this King of Wands energy, and I want to say if I'm talking to you and you're this Queen of Wands, you could be the masculine energy in this connection. This King of Wands could be the feminine energy in this connection. But that was not immediately what I thought when I was tapping into this, but because I said it, it could be relevant. So I want to tap into what this like previous conflict that you guys all were involved in was. Also, don't make this reading fit if it doesn't make sense, or if you feel like, no, I'm pretty self-aware. I understand that, like, yeah, and I made peace with this. This wouldn't really lead to a conflict. I would feel misunderstood, but at the same time, like, I would be able to understand how this person felt like that way. Like, it makes sense. But if this is something where I almost feel like you don't even know this would activate you, because I feel like this is something where this way this person would like how you would hear that they assumed, like what they assumed about you and your actions in a situation that they didn't even know about, it's going to hurt you. It's going to make you feel like, what the fuck? It's also going to make you feel like you don't even know this person because this is how they moved for something and they don't have remorse in this, right? And so if you also don't, or you just don't want to face it, then Spirit is kind of stopping you guys from this opportunity because neither of you would know how to navigate whatever this is that seems like it's necessary for your guys' relationship or situation, especially because if both of you have so much stuff going on when it comes to contracts or commitments or things like that with people from the past, then if you guys are supposed to come in and have some kind of like financial commitment with each other, especially being the King and Queen of Wands, that's power. That's also career, right? If you guys were supposed to sign on to something together in the future, this is not going to work if neither of you have awareness of this trigger, right? Because this will lead to misunderstanding. And if you feel misunderstood, and that is a huge trigger, this is what's being asked to be tackled. And it seems like there's something here about situational awareness or self-awareness or empathy that is lacking on this Queen of Wands part, which is you, is how I'm seeing this. So the situation is set up this way for a reason, because it's supposed to help you guys understand and work through this trauma. and to not deny working through the trauma and looking at it just because we've been able to get ourselves to a place where we're comfortable enough to not really have to look at it, right? If we're doing everything on our own, if our life is set up, if we're vibing, if we know we love ourselves and we love our accomplishments and, you know, the fact that we came through for ourselves, then technically we don't really need anyone else, right? But it's not that. It's not that you don't need other people or to hear other people's opinions. It's that if you are in a place where you're comfortable enough to not have to be self-aware of the way that your actions have affected other people because you just remove yourself from it, then you're never actually gonna like accept this shadow in you that has to do with like the vengeance or the spite that comes out. They're liar. Be careful if someone's sneaky. Somebody outside of you in this conflict between you, this King of Wands, I want to say it could be friends or family with that Five of Wands energy, but you guys were both involved in this, you and the King of Wands and other people. This was the thing where I think somebody was being accused of being a liar, and I don't think it was you. We have narcissist. Someone also could be, like, that term could be thrown around. Someone is too full of themselves. And then we also have cycles, fate, karma, something ending, something beginning. I was saying there's something about like your guys' karmic involvement with other people in the past. Yeah, move on and then vacation. There's something about like the way that your relationship could have overlapped with like the people that you guys were both with previously before your guys' relationship or your guys' commitment, especially with this happening and then this happening pretty much immediately after. Challenges. This is something that it posed a huge challenge in the situation, most likely. Make a decision, work on inner healing. You're gonna be facing this in like probably relatively soon. Also have intimacy, sexual chemistry, reminiscing. There is something also, I feel like this is the collective that I read on a lot in May. So that could have been a significant month, but also we have 3 here, which it could represent March also being significant. There's something here about like this Queen of Wands energy. She's like the fire queen, right? She's like the sexual, like root shadow goddess. And so there is also something here about you maybe not feeling like you probably haven't felt like that, like in that energy, that dark feminine energy. This may be a collective where you're like, I don't know what the hell dark feminine energy is or what it feels like. There's something about a challenge being posed when it comes to intimacy with this person as well in that regard, which is really showing up like it's actually very interesting because you're showing up as the King and Queen of Wands. This is not something that would be a challenge, but it's showing up like there is something about you being able to, it's like it just always makes me think of Kali, the goddess, right? And I think Kali like kills Shiva, and Shiva is another goddess. Shiva danced the like world into creation. And then Kali has her counterpart, I don't remember that one's name, also starts with a K, I think. But Kali has this rage, she has this like spite, this vengeance, she has this like this roar energy, and it's like she got blinded to it. And there's something about like her counterpart, I think the tale of how it goes is he has to like lay on the ground, and a lot of times you'll see this depicted with like someone on the ground and then her like stepping on this person, like it's actually not supposed to look like it's just for, you know, an image of empowerment of like it's actually something that kind of exemplifies like this person being the only person to kind of make you think twice about your energy that you are kind of being consumed by, because this person lays in front of you and you end up stepping on them, and this person that you love, that's your counterpart, like gives you that realization, right? It makes a lot of sense for what we've been talking about with this trigger being something where you only really are gonna see how intense this is when you see it reflected back to you by this other person. Except it's like a broken mirror. It's like this person, they can't really understand it. And I think it's going to help you see how this person isn't self-aware of something, and why maybe you've been feeling misunderstood by this person for however long, or you feel like there's been a challenge when it comes to you guys connecting or having some kind of depth. And you could have also felt like, this person, they have lessons to learn. They're in their ego. I feel like this person has the same opinion of you, and I don't even think you know about it, and I don't think you'd understand how they could have that opinion of you. Air sign. You could be an air sign, or this person could be an air sign. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Date night. Get ready to be wined and dine. This person may want to take you out. Love spell. You've been bewitched. I usually see this as a card of like manipulation, or a card of booze. There's something about you maybe not knowing that this person that you're involved with, they have a little bit of an energy of a vibe of like being manipulative in a way that you haven't seen yet, or in a way that you know about, but it's something that you're not seeing the truth on, because I want to say you might not be being truthful with yourself in this regard. This person, they know that they were manipulative in whatever this was, and they are truthful with themselves about that. And they accept that. And I also feel like they do have that like dark. This person has also been slightly manipulative in their connection with you in a way that you didn't understand, or it made you feel misunderstood. It also maybe triggered you that this person you could have thought they were just like not wanting to, like they were being avoidant in some way, or like they were, like this was happening because they had a trigger. It's showing up like it's not that they were being manipulative based off a trigger. It's that they were being manipulative because they didn't, it's almost giving like, you could have felt gaslit when this person did this, right? It says you cannot, but I feel like part of it is, this could have stirred up conflict, or this could have been the last time you had conflict with this person. There's something about them accepting that energy in themselves, or you could have, like, this person could have experienced, like, they could have been kind of mad, or this could have fired them up. That anger, that like rage, that being fired up is something that I think that that's where you're being asked to kind of like feel into, because it's like when you do, or if you think back to certain times in the past where you have, and how people have been affected by this, not this King of Wands personally. I feel like you have too much love for this person to have treated them in whatever way this person misunderstands about you. In whatever way this person watched you or created like some kind of reputation about how you treated someone else. That is something where they have acceptance that they operate this way in themselves, but there's like a block between this because you operated this way with someone else, and you don't accept, or you don't fully look at like the situation in a way where it would reflect back to you some feelings that you're not proud of. And the fact that you don't, it's like there's a blockage between you or this person being able to actually fully understand you in the way that you're wanting, because they do. Like they fully do like accept this in themselves, and they did move this way, and they moved this way with you, whether you want to accept that or not. And I feel like part of it is that, and then caution, find out more information, don't overwork yourself. There's something about miscommunications or you guys not understanding each other's intention because of like this core thing, and it's gonna come up, but it's also something where unless you can fully look into this and accept this energy in yourself in a way where you don't have shame, there's something that has to do with like your roots chakra or your sacral chakra that is affected by this, and it specifically affects emotional intimacy or your ability to connect with this person in like a way where you feel like a Queen of Wands to their King of Wands. So I want to know more about like what you need. I want to know what you need to know, because I don't know how many parts this message is already, but you are going to have a moment with this person where maybe you do catch on to like this person could take you out, or they could ask to take you out. And this is something where I think that it's going to challenge you being in this position with this person. But we also have love spell. It's going to be something where you guys, you know, have a few drinks. And I think this also is something where this is maybe where the challenge is posed, because I think that on one hand, this person's really wanting to maybe have some form of intimacy with you, and they could be thinking back on when you guys did have a lot of this. But I think that because there's going to be booze involved in this, and also because there is something about this person like wanting to operate in a certain way that maybe you don't yet accept in yourself, or you're not super comfortable with yet, it's going to pose a challenge. And it could also like, there's something about a conflict that could arise just before it would even get to that point, right? I have grief. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. Adversity. And then trust. I also think that in this situation, because there's been miscommunication, or because maybe you feel like this person hasn't fully let you in on like what's going on in their life, or they haven't given you a lot of tea, I think that it's made it challenging for you to trust this person in a way where maybe you feel like you would need to also to have the type of intimacy that this person is wanting to have with you. And I think grief, it's like you may have grieved that portion of this relationship. You could have felt like this is something that just like isn't gonna happen the way that it used to. I want to say you guys are like different people than you were like when you guys maybe used to operate like this, or have this type of bond where you did have that sexual chemistry, or when you guys actually like felt into it. This person, I think they're feeling some grief because of a situation, or it could be that past situation where you guys had conflict. I think this person's feeling grief because they maybe feel like they adversity and trust. I want to say they know, or they feel like it would make sense for them to have betrayed your trust in some way, specifically about like, it could have been that you guys both were grieving, or you guys went through a period of grief, or like somebody could have died. But there's something about this person and you being so similar, and there's also something about it being a challenge because you guys are so similar, but you both kind of judge each other for traits that like you don't want to look at in yourselves. And so there's something about one of you really accepting and like being able to understand this certain thing about themselves, but not wanting to change themselves or like heal it out of them. They just accept it, right? And I think that's the same trait that maybe you judge in this person, or you judged someone they were involved with for having that trait, but it's like something that you also have. You just aren't being truthful with yourself about that because you don't like to look at how having that trait has affected people outside of you in the past. It's like you can fully look into, like I was saying in part 1, your shadow and feel into shame and stuff like that when it's someone else treating you that way, but you treated somebody else this way and you don't want to see it fully. This person, they accept that in themselves, and so they can see that. But then there's also something about you accepting something in yourself that this person, they don't want to see that in themselves. And so you guys are so similar, but it also creates a lot of misunderstanding, because I think that if you were to call each other out on certain things, like with the understanding you have of yourself, when that other person doesn't have, like they're not fully comfortable with this yet and they don't know this in themselves, it would be like, wait, what? And you guys both would feel like, we don't even know each other. Like, who are we? Like, who are you? Like, do I love, like, what is this? Do I know this person? It's like you do, but you guys are not looking at yourselves. And so it's gonna create this like this distortion that the only way to not have this distortion affect this connection in this way is for you guys to actually see it when it's happening in situations outside of you guys. How you guys are letting your triggers or your shadow energy come up, but there's also this energy of denial and not wanting to look at how it makes certain people feel. And it's not just an energy of like, just take accountability for how you make people feel. It's like actually feeling into the fact that you don't like that you made people feel that way, or that you do feel some sense of like shame for it, or maybe you feel like this other person would shame you, so you kind of have to just almost like not even address the issue or whatever this is, because it's like a step before accountability. Sexuality, someone is still figuring themselves out. A lot of this that I'm talking about has to do with sexuality. Move on, someone is unavailable, a waste of time, it's over. There is something about like feelings of like incompatibility in certain ways that maybe you thought you had with this person, that it's like you don't. You just are going to be on a journey over the next year probably, or the next few months at least, where you start to recognize that you do have certain shame in certain energy of yourself that you do not accept or you've repressed. And there's a reading that I specifically posted in like May that I'll go and find the date for it if you guys are interested, but it talks about like exactly what this is that I'm trying to describe. So this is just like we're getting a step deeper basically from that reading. But this is going to come up again. So this is a reoccurring kind of cycle, but it's happening in certain stages so that it can bring you to this awareness, because this is something very deep rooted. And this is like the heavy stuff. This is like the root chakra and the sacral chakra. That's really low, like heavy trauma with whatever this is, which means this energy has been suppressed in you for a really long time. Being able to accept that you have this side of you, it's been suppressed for a really long time.